You are listening to
Marty and the Breaux.
people about this.
Yeah, because religion is so big in my community, man. Like, definitely, I'm a weirdo for for having any of these conversations I'm having with you, right? That just immediately makes me a weirdo, and like, it's a lot of groupthink thing. Like, I've come across a lot of, like, for example, there's been women in my life that don't that have completely swerved me and don't want to talk to me, and and they learn that I'm when I'm unapologetically non-religious and very adamant about it, saying it's something that they're like, oh, I don't need nobody that doesn't believe in God, and it just breeds just a lot of there's a lot of judgmental bullshit that comes with that from my community. Like, for example, I was saying, like, the reason just being honest about, when I look back at when I was shot, the whole thing with that happening is, I don't know if I've explained, I'll go give a little backstory into it, but I was still in high school, right? Say I had just, I was still in high school. While I was in high school, my mom had passed away, right? I moved back in with my dad.
We if anybody missed it, we talked a little bit about this in episode 5.
Yeah.
About that story.
And
yeah,
episode 3 a little bit too, right? So, but so just
also,
a Cliff Notes version, right? So my mom passes away. I move in with my dad, right? Trying to get my life together because I was running the streets. The woman he was dating at the time was ridiculously religious. When I say ridiculously religious, I mean, we were having church in the living room. You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay.
That's how. Yeah,
it was pretty religious.
It was ridiculous, right? But I'm in there hook, line. You see, like I told you how I am with
You were in it. You were gang, you went in like at that point.
That gang life, gang life has taught me, you all in, balls in. That's how saying it's all or nothing, right? Saying that's one of those positives of life. So I'm like, bet I'm reading the Bible every day. I'm in it. Saying you can't. I'm sitting in the living room waiting for people to come to church, right? Saying that's how it was. Like, I was like, my mom just died. I'm trying to figure it out, right? So So we're having it's just super religious and stuff, and I'm making straight A's in school. I'm like I said, I got back into high school. I'm making straight A's. I'm doing everything I need to do. Saying I'm living I'm the perfect blackie. I'm saying, for lack of a better term.
You're
perfect,
one of the good ones.
One of the good ones, exactly, right? So
working on it at least.
I joined the basketball team because whatever they everybody
they coerced you into.
They've genuinely coerced whatever. We'll talk about that another day, right? Saying I got coerced into the basketball team, and as I'm on the basketball team, I start smoking weed again because I'm out. I'm hanging with niggas in the hood again. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm hanging with my niggas. And it happens like at this time I had stopped smoking weed. I had tried to get my life completely around, but I started smoking weed. I still was making A's. I wasn't running the streets. I just smoked weed after the basketball games and before, and a lot, but at that point, right? So so long story short, I guess saying they find weed on me, and because it's a super religious, super holy.
This is your
stepmother and my dad. Yeah, find weed on me.
Your mother, your dad.
And this is, mind you,
weed on you at home.
Mind you, at this point, I'm a straight A student. Saying mom had just passed away, but a year, a little more, a little less than a year. Saying at this point, I just got out from. They know right before I moved in with them, I was out here banging, thugging. Saying it was like the streets. I was not. Everybody knew I was out here in the streets, right? Saying now I'm religious. I'm trying to turn my life completely around. I start smoking weed again. Instead of like any kind of conversation or anything, I get thrown out into the street. They literally immediately kicked me out. Senior year of high school, I didn't even finish high school. And I'll put this on my dad. Shout out to the homie. Saying like he was living in her house, right? Saying like I told you there was that codependent relationship thing because like I said, he's a felon. Sure, saying like there's those issues. It's hard to get property, get something in your name when whatever it gets deep, right? Saying so he's living with this lady. It's her house basically, right? So she kicks me out. Saying
and you can point, you point directly to her religious fervor.
1,000%, that's what it was. And
instead of her religious fervor being there to be supportive of you in whatever you're doing.
Nah, I'm one of them niggas. I'm one of them nothing ass niggas that what I'm saying. You get what I mean? I'm not one of them nothing ass niggas that will never be shit. I'm just I'm just problem bringing in evil spirits into the house, all this kind of shit. So I end up moving in with Miss Tisha. Shout out Miss Tisha. I love you to death. Hope everything's going well. And long story short, that's why I was on corporate. I met Pure. There's some good points in my life. Even at this point, I had already joined the Navy. Like when they kicked me out, they'd known I swore into the Navy. So right after high school, I would, graduate and go off to the Navy, right? You know what I'm saying? They kicked me while knowing all this is going on because they catch me with weed. I get kicked out the house, I get shot on, in the neighborhood I was living in because it was just, I had no choice but to live over there. It wasn't the greatest neighborhood. I got shot. In the Navy, thing's gone, and my life really gets flipped upside down for me, right? It was Like I told you, because I'm religious at this time, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking, like, in my mind, I'm thinking, you know, I'm like, okay, my mom died. There's, you know, my lifestyle changed a little bit. You know, I'm trying to do more positive things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, you know,
and this is going on and this is happening. So in your head, you are trying to reconcile your newfound religion with the reality around you, and you're starting to see a disconnect. I'm guessing, and that's
yeah, man. It was bullshit. It was like, I'm looking at, like, you know, like how, you know, these people who are religious, God fearing, all this bullshit, how they treat people, how they're just like, you know what I'm saying, throw people to the wolves, you know what I'm saying? And I know, like for example, I told you that around this time, I had met Kirk for the first time. Shout out to homie Kirk, love you to death, brother. You know, who's, you know, not religious. You know, I don't want to call him an atheist. I'm not sure exact. I know damn well he don't believe in Christian God, right? Just put it like that, you know.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And he's literally one of the kindest people. Like, didn't give up on me, right? You know what I'm saying? Didn't just throw me to the wolves when, you know, when shit hit the fan. Like, I'm seeing these completely separate worlds. Like, I'm like, wait a minute, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? This quote unquote God fearing woman, you know what I'm saying? God, you know, Jesus preaches forgiveness, you know what I'm saying? Ain't none of that shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, she out, you know, there's always cussing and yelling and beating kids and all this, you know, abuse, of physical abuse, emotional abuse, all this kind of shit. And then, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day, you know, you don't, you know, like, it just, for me, what I noticed was, it was like, this is like giving you an excuse to not have to deal with your bullshit, because, you know, like I said, Jesus is coming back, so you ain't got to save the world. Why save the world? Jesus is coming back. There's no need, you know what I'm saying? Like there's, you know, you're getting caught up in rapture. And also on top of that, it's like, you know what I'm saying, like, if you're saved, you know, there's no need to worry about anybody. It's just all kinds of trash. Yo, man. You like what you just saw? Make sure you like, share, subscribe, so the algorithms can algorithm or whatever sorcery they do. Follow us on our socials. Links all down in the description. And let's keep rocking.